All right, welcome back to the channel. Today we have Chris with us, and we have his Dodge Charger.
You know, riding with my dad. My dad had different kind of sporty cars back in the day. And I think my dad was more into the old school. You know, my dad would talk about, you know, the Pontiac Trans Ams and things of that nature. So like I always got into even like the old movies of like rear wheel drive, like, you know, running loose V8 cars and all that stuff. So it was always something that I wanted to experience. I got lucky with Dodge and like what they did with the Charger, turning it from, you know, the traditional coupe to four-door sedan. So like I could get car seats in there and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think it helped me like recapture that feel from my childhood. It's a 2016 model. It's a Dodge Charger Scat Pack. So this is basically like a SRT 392 engine, but then everything else is baseline for the RT 5.7, so like the step down. So it's like if you want a bigger engine but you want to pay less, you don't want to have a lot of the fancy like things that come along with having that bigger engine, you could do that to save costs essentially. Right. So that's what this is. At this point I think I'm almost at 85,000 miles on the car. I would say I'm coming up on like 4.5 years with the car.
Maybe people that have kids are wondering if this is practical enough with kids as far as the daily driver. We want to start with the trunk space. It's a fairly wide opening with the trunk space.
And I'll be honest, just to add on to that, I thought about this when I first looked at the trunk space for this car, but like, you know, you always notice kind of like how there would fit a body in the car. It's very hot out here, but I mean, I could easily...
It's like, very hot.
You know, Bobby might have to let me out, but like I could very easily just like, if I wanted to, just kind of hide out in here. There's a little button.
Hopefully get him out.
Hopefully, yeah. So, you know.
It's a little hot. So,
and that's,
hey, don't do this at home, okay? Disclaimer at the bottom. Don't go in the trunk of a Charger when it's 100 degrees outside. All right. And they haven't changed that much in the last couple years, the design. I feel like it stayed pretty...
It's the same, yeah. It's from like 15 to now. It's the only thing that's really changed and that might become more sought after, I think, is like the sportier cars. They're starting to roll out like the wide body fenders. Mm-hmm. So they're a little bit like wider with like meatier tires and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, but still, even if you look at even last year's like the high-end model of the Dodge Charger, which is the Hellcat, like still looks about the same. The hood's a little bit different. The tires are a little bit wider, but still the same kind of trim level with the body and everything like that.
If this is not enough power for you, this is what, 3 some horsepower?
So okay, at the crank you're looking at like 485 for horsepower, but at the wheels it's substantially lower, so you're probably looking at like 450 or something like that.
So if you need more than 450, you can from Dodge.
Oh yeah,
700.
Yeah.
Here we got the power plant again, a V8, and for my international audience, you don't really see many natural aspirate V8s, and this is a 5 liter, 4 something.
6.4. Yeah. I've not had any issues with the car that are like significant.
So from your ownership experience, what would you say is like the things that you like the most?
I like that I can have the same kind of performance package that you would have. Similarly, maybe not exactly the same, but that you would have with like especially with a Challenger, but maybe like a Mustang or a Camaro. But I can fit my family in the back comfortably. Like I like that aspect of it, and that's the biggest selling point is how much you would pay for the performance point wise. Like it's like I think the best deal you can get for a family sedan. But there's some things that like this car does not win in at all, which is like fuel economy, like
ownership costs. You have to take that in consideration.
Right. One day we'll get there, maybe. I don't know. Where we'll have cars that I don't know that they run a little bit. They run a little bit better on you know, more reasonably priced gasoline and stuff like that. Right. Hybrids, like we're already seeing like what do they call them now? The like the hybrid supercars. They have a name, but
like hypercars.
Hypercars, yeah. Like things like that. Okay. Like when we get there, like maybe it won't be that big of a deal.
If you have a hypercar that you want to showcase on the channel,
please, yeah,
put in a comment. We'll gladly review your hypercar. Koenigsegg or you know Pagani. If you guys are watching, goodness. You know we'll work something out. A little dry humor there. Alrighty, so we're sitting inside the Dodge Charger.
I mean, I have. So when I was looking for this car, I tried to find out, like, what's the cheapest version of this car I could get. So like I skimped on a lot of there's like leather seat versions and things like that, but I wasn't really interested in that sunroof, what have you. I tried to find the safety stuff so that it was more family friendly, but what I've appreciated about the car has been the space, like the headroom. So I guess the only thing I can think of is I've had this car going on almost, I mean, I'm at 4 years, but like I could see this car making it to 5 years easily with not a lot of big issues, over 100,000 miles, which it's true. I've had a Dodge in the past, and they have a reputation for not making it that long. So they've done something. I don't know what it is.
We're praying.
So far,
well, he's praying.
Yeah, praying, and there's no wood to knock on. So I mean, this is like the cheapest car you can get. That's a V8. That's a sedan that captures that feel.
Right.
And I've enjoyed it so much that like I could see myself, like just like getting the same. Like I could easily get the same trim, newer model, like same exact car, and like I could see myself doing that. Like I would definitely, not just because I own it, but like the car's been very reliable. It's fun to drive, and I would get another one. Like I would recommend this to other people, especially on a budget. Like one of the things that I will always circle back to is, and I'm gonna get a little bit spiritual on this, but like I think Jesus said it the best, right? That tomorrow is not promised, and I'm paraphrasing, but. Right. That there's this sense of like living for today, and like for me it was I didn't want to have a regret of missing out on an opportunity, and I do feel like Dodge has made it very reasonable. I'm going back to the car thing, but like they made it very reasonable to where I was like, okay. And I will say on top of that, I like sharing that experience. So like I like having other people with me, like them driving, like them getting that feel of like
power.
The rear end getting loose, like just wide open throttle. Like I enjoy, and that's another thing too. Not even just with cars, but like I like that where you can like share that with people, that experience, and like that's like because I've always like I'm still that way. Where like I don't know, sharing that experience, like that's the big thing too. Is like this, like. Being able to share that with other people, I think that's the best thing you could take from it.
Starting up the Dodge Charger. Wow, the camera almost fell down. All right, so put it in drive. There's no parking brake. Nope. So the hood is pretty big. It's pretty loud.
Well, and I'll tell you too. We'll maybe stop right up here, and I'll just do one thing really quick here. Once you stop at the stop sign, that I forgot to do when we started it up. So I will say that the 80,000+ miles I put in this car, I have put in sport mode, which I think just gives it a more like aggressive feel. So you'll like the steering wheel will be tighter, and the shifting will be harder. But I've enjoyed driving it that way.
So that changes the throttle.
Yeah. So it's I know a lot of cars, they probably call it different things, but the sport mode, like I like it mostly because what is the other thing that cars have? I don't know if they call it the same thing, but
it's pretty high because it was at a 2 right there.
Yeah. And it even feels different if you're automatic versus like manually shifting yourself. Like if it's in sport mode, like you'll be able to tell like there's specifically when you downshift. Okay. I've felt like the car kind of it'll give you some of the like exhaust like pops. It's not super aggressive, but like it's it's kind of cool. It's like mostly from third and second to first, you'll feel it. But.
So it's actually a little bit firm. The what do you call it? The suspension.
Yeah.
Okay, so it moves.
It's RS. Yeah. Oh, 50, there we go. Yep. It's when you open it up, that's the coolest thing to me. Like And the best part is at a light. If you open it up, like you will feel the rear end, like you'll have to recorrect the steering just a little bit.
So if you're considering getting the Dodge Charger with this performance pack, be mindful how quickly you approach the speed limit, because it does happen very quickly. But when you're cruising, it's just comfortable. Like it's, you know, it's like any other car. Like it's, but when you hit the gas, it kind of, the personality of the car changes. You want to drive it economically, you can, of course. Like if you're light on the gas, and it doesn't have to be that of a gas guzzler because of the modern technology I have with deactivating the cylinder. So that is cool. You know, if you have a grandma, she can drive this basically.
Yeah.
She can.
That's
I mean,
true.
it's, you know, it's just put in drive and just go. It was a short and fun experience. I appreciate it. You at home, feel free to put in the comment, but is this the world's best family performance sedan? Wow. I think it's called sedan.